We'd like to call the Clarkston Independence District Library Board of Trustees meeting at 6:35. I can't even write. May we stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, please?
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
May we have the roll call, please?
Jan Gaffney.
Here.
Tim Holcomb.
Here.
Allison McFadden Kiesling.
Here.
Nancy Moon.
Here.
Alan Panter.
Here.
Marilyn Pomeroy absent. Maggie Sands.
Here.
And Meredith here.
May I have a motion for the approval of the agenda, please?
So moved.
Second. Did you get that?
I got it, so it was moved by Jan, seconded by Allison.
Okay. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those who disapprove, please say nay. Motion carried. Anyone from the public want to chat? Don't see anybody. Okay, let's move forward to the consent agenda.
I'll move that we approve the consent agenda as presented.
Second.
Okay. Motion has been made to accept the consent agenda as presented. All those who approve, please say aye.
Aye.
All those who disapprove, please say nay. Motion carried. Friends of the Library report?
Good evening. Just a couple of items tonight. The winter book sale we had went very well. A couple weeks ago, we made $7,033.22. So it's a very good book sale. We had 13 new members sign up at the book sale, one afterwards. We are still, just in news here, we are still looking for an opening for the vice president position and president-elect position on our board. And we have begun investigating designs for potentially revising the logo for Friends.
Oh, very nice.
And that's all. If there's any
Okay.
questions.
Thank you, Jim.
You're welcome.
Library statistics, please.
All right. The first thing on the top of your pile, I want you to notice we have a beautiful 2024 year in review, thanks to Sissy. She does this each year for us. That shows you sort of the highlights of what we did in 2024. 116,543 library visitors, over 1,500 new library cards, 264,000 circulations, over 11,000 information questions, 240 children's and teen programs. So lots of great things going on here at the library. Just below that, you will see that we have a new statistic that we have not been tracking up until this year. We are now tracking the number of notaries that we do. The number of documents we've notarized, and so 565 notaries this year.
That's important.
That's a lot.
And you can see from a month-by-month basis how many notaries we do. We do have 7, soon to be 8 notaries on staff, and so we spread the workload. It's not very expensive to create a notary, so the staff that are willing, we turn into notaries and get them signed up so that we can do that. Most of the notaries we do are for the school district. They have residency forms that need to be notarized, and they also have medical forms that need to be notarized, and it's really helpful for parents to be able to come evenings and weekends to have those things done. But then in addition, we also do wills and legal forms and other kinds of financial documents and such as well. But the bulk of what we do are usually school forms.
That's a nice statistic. That's a lot.
It's a significant number as well. Mhm. And it's continuing to grow as people find out. The banks don't really want to do notary anymore unless it's a financial document that they have created, which is understandable. They're a business, and so they want to be able to do things that are specifically theirs. But this is a nice service we can offer to the community, and it's very much appreciated. So. And then we also have the December, we're always 2 months behind, the December 2024 compared to 2023. So in terms of visitors in December, we were up a little. In terms of the amount checked out, we were down a little bit. Computer users were up. So December is always kind of a mixed bag with people being busy at the holidays and such. Study room usage was up. Adult program participants and adult programs were up. We're really proud of the adult department. They've been doing a lot of additional programming, and they're getting nice turnout for those things too. So all good news to report on that front.
Thank you. I think we're now ready for the library director's report.
So you'll notice that the style of my director's report looks a little different this month. I'm incorporating our strategic plan. So we have our 3 strategic directions. We are a community collaborator, we are a go-to place for learning and resources, and we are a vital organization. And so I've divided up the things that are in my report under those headings to make it a little more fun and interesting, and added some photos. So under We Are a Community Collaborator, I'm going to reiterate what Jim said. The Friends of the Library hosted their 2nd annual winter book sale during the last week of January. Another huge success. This year's sale raised even more money than last year. This event that replaced the holiday sale that used to be held in early December also includes a bake sale hosted by the Church of the Resurrection, our neighbor across the street. The bake sale is actually a service project that raises money for books for the library's children's collections and funds for other nonprofits in the community, such as Lighthouse and the Clarkson Family Farm. That's a really nice collaboration. It used to be that the Church of the Resurrection did this as a service project during the Greens Market, and then the Greens Market moved its location, and they didn't have enough traffic to really do a good sale. And so Mickey Ginn, when she was on the library board, she and I went over there to the sale, and we looked at each other and said, you know, we could help them out with this and make this a nice collaboration. And so every time we have a book sale, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, they have their bake sale.
And they bring wonderful
And they
things
bring
to their
wonderful
bake sale.
things. They're excellent bakers, and it is a service project, which is why we collaborate with them on it, because they do donate a percentage of the sales directly to our children's collection. So we get some children's books out of the deal, and then they also donate the rest of the money toward only local nonprofits. So that's a neat program that we do. Each year, the library participates in Random Acts of Kindness Week, sponsored by the Friends of the Library. We put out a gumball machine filled with capsules that include a treat and a suggestion for a small kindness that person could do for someone in the community. We had 210 library patrons participate in this fun activity. And this is our 2nd year doing this, Sissy? Mm-hmm. 2nd year, okay, yeah. And people really enjoy it.
What week of the year is that?
Well, let's see, it was last week, so
Okay.
so the week of Valentine's Day, I believe, is the week that it usually falls. So we are a go-to place for learning resources. So in that category, on March 21st, I will be presenting at the Library of Michigan's Strong Connections, Strong Libraries Conference. My presentation, Can You Feel the Love Using Community Engagement to Experience Your Why, will focus on how to encourage all staff, even those that do not have direct public service as part of their normal job description, to participate in the library's outreach opportunities in order to experience the impact that the library has on our community residents. Thanks to funding from the Friends of the library is now hosting rug tufting workshops. The library owns 5 rug tufters, which are like a handheld sewing machine that creates colorful textured designs on fabric using yarn. The program this program environment is welcoming and is hosted by Innovations librarian Neil Parr and youth librarian Anna Twitty, and it has been an energetic time for first-time rug tufters to create beautiful, one-of-kind pieces to take home. There are lots of great photos. I didn't get an opportunity to pull any of those to put into this, but check out the Friends newsletter, because there will be an article featuring the rug tufters in the Friends newsletter this spring. At the January meeting, the library board approved a new part-time position, makerspace and technology assistant. This person will assist Neil Parr, our innovations librarian, with hands-on programs including the Glowforge, the 3D printer, the sublimation printer, the rug tufters, and more. We welcome Kyle Rush to our team to fulfill this exciting new role. So welcome, Kyle. This one's especially fun. This one's from Sissy. Thank you, Sissy, for this one. Last month, we received a Facebook message from Thomas Schaefer with permission to share that his daughter Heidi's latest baking adventure was inspired by a book and cake pop molds that she checked out from the library. So the cake pop mold are part of our vault. Check out the attached post below with the photo of her cute sweet treat creations, and thank you for sharing your creativity, Heidi. So her dad says that she borrowed Kawaii Sweet World from the Clarkson Independent District Library this week, along with cake pop molds, determined to tackle her most challenging project yet, kitty cat cake pops. After lots of patience and creativity, she's proud to share her adorable creation. Right now, she's out with her mom and sister delivering these sweet treats to some of her friends around town, proud of her perseverance and creativity and kindness. So
Adorable.
adorable, yes, absolutely adorable. And the library was there to assist her in her creativity. And we are a vital organization. At the January meeting, the library board reviewed and approved the strategic plan for 25 to 27. The next step in the process is to transition from plan development to implementation. The library's leadership team met with our consultant on February 5th to learn how to execute this process, which should take a few months, although some work will begin as this transition is unfolding. The team will have one meeting on each of the 3 strategic directions on 226, 312, and 326 to develop a list of activities, assign responsibilities to those very activities, and create a timeline. The time between each meeting will be used to allow department heads to seek feedback from their teams as this activities plan is developed, so fine-tuning can take place along the way. So we are looking forward to this process, and then we will continue to let you know as we roll it out further. On February 13th, I participated in a small group media training sponsored by the Library of Michigan that was presented by Tom Flodding of Hennis Communications. This company specializes in assisting organizations in responding to PR crisis situations, and Tom, with his 33 years of newspaper and digital media experience, specifically uses his journalistic expertise to coach leaders in handling difficult, high-pressure interviews. This was a great training session that provided both tips and role-playing practice with intense, hard-to-answer questions. It was 2.5 hours of really intense training, but it was fun and interesting, and there were 6 people in the class. So it was fantastic. Really, really good stuff. So thank you to the Library of Michigan for providing that great training.
Any questions or comments?
I like the new format.
I do.
Yeah, it's really great,
I
yeah.
do too.
Yeah.
I looked at that and I thought, there's something wrong with this page.
Yeah.
Different. Okay, now we're ready for regular business, review of the Library Marketing and Communications Conference.
Welcome, Sissy. So I'm going to do a quick little recap for them,
Yes.
Sissy, so that they know. In October, the library board approved out-of-state travel for Sissy Phillips and Chelsea Pridmore to attend the Library Marketing and Communications Conference in St. Louis, Missouri on November 13th and 14th of 2024. The only event of its type for libraries, this annual conference is designed for library employees at any level who are involved in marketing, communications, public relations, social media, and outreach. And Sissy and Chelsea have put together a presentation, although this is not Chelsea, this is Stephanie.
Oh, you know, I like a sticker,
I
so
know,
this is great.
this is some of the swag that was given out at the conference.
Oh, that's wonderful.
What
So I
fun.
just brought some of it, but, and if you'd like to keep any of it, please.
Now, these gotta go in your, like, notebooks and your
I
stickers.
know. Chelsea was like, it's all in the bag still. I'm like, yes, mine is all in the bag too. So it was really fun. So I'm going to present about what our time was. Unfortunately, Chelsea is out sick today, so she wasn't able to come. And she was like, maybe I can try and persevere. And I said, please stay home.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, so started off strong with a couple photos. So it was in St. Louis, and the hotel that we stayed at was the hotel that the conference was at, which was super convenient. It was literally like stone away throws from the arch. So you walk out, turn left, and there it is.
That's kind of cool.
So the first day that we arrived were like these photos because it was gorgeous, oh my goodness. And it was cold here, so it was great. And then it was foggy the rest of the time, but that's okay. So we got, like, the first day we got there, we did some, like, walking around, and like I said, it was really nice out. And then we had to get our obligatory arch photos with our swag bag, which we got from the conference. So that was really fun. Okay, so I broke down our favorite sessions between me and Chelsea. Obviously, we went to a lot of sessions. They had breakout sessions. We'd have breakfast in the morning with everyone, and then we would go to 2 sessions, lunch, 2 sessions, and then they would do like a bonding activity, and that kind of depended on the day. Like, it was their 10th anniversary, so they had like a huge celebration the one night, which was really fun. Although it was raining, it was on the rooftop, but we found dry spots. So just some of mine. My favorite one was this one, internal communication, top down and bottom up. The team that led it obviously had a much bigger team than we did, and they had multiple branches, but they were talking about how important like communication is with managers, with your team, and because they have so many branches, right, they need to make sure that all of their team is on the same page, especially in a crisis that they might have. So they were talking about how do we keep all of our staff engaged and across all of the different branches. Now, again, we all work in the same building, which is really nice, so that is a plus for us. We're not as like as far as they are, but they were still talking a lot about you know, positively influencing work culture and how we can like, you know, play a role in that, and how do we keep like our staff informed and engaged on everything. So they have a staff website, they have a staff email newsletter, and she has like a protocol for communication, which is she called it Adele, and a photo of Adele came up, and she was like, not that one, but, but it stands for empathy, direct, explain, and listen. I already told Julie that I really, really loved her communication training, and I've reached out to her, and she's willing to do a Zoom training with like our management team. So hopefully this year we'll get that on the books for our management team to have that training. But hers was incredible. It was my favorite one. But we also talked about library branding, and a lot of it, the conference too, was kind of talking about like Julie said earlier, kind of remember your why. Like, what is your value? What is the value of the library? Who are your stakeholders? Who's your audience? And kind of remembering those things. Okay, well I could have just stopped there. So the last one was, it was Survivor themed. I don't know, has anyone watched Survivor before? So the woman that led it was, she must have watched every season. It was incredibly detailed. But it was themed to Survivor, but it was about social media, and she was talking about how you create a social media or marketing plan. Now she talked about when she first started at her job, it was just her, and it took her 3 years, and then she actually ended up being able to build a marketing team. But she's like, when I got there, you know, there was nothing in place, there wasn't a plan, anything like that. And she's like, and I know, it seems very overwhelming. She's like, but you have to just start looking at your content and kind of creating these content buckets. So look at what you're posting and say, okay, what are the themes that are emerging from what I'm already doing? Instead of making these lofty goals already, like evaluate what you do now and then start from there. So she had like a whole guide that we could use and everything like that. So it's very helpful, and it's definitely one of my goals to kind of amp up what we have. So that I thought was really, really, really incredible. But yeah, she was saying more about the braggability too. Like, you know, we do amazing work, so we got to make sure that we're communicating that with, you know, with our community. Okay, so Chelsea, also the social media strategy, we both went to the Survivor one. Chelsea runs social media for the teens here in the library. So she has a CIDL teen Instagram that she runs independent. So it was important for her to go to that too, and she really liked that session as well. So we were both talking about it afterwards. Otherwise, we went to different sessions, but that was the one that we did share. But so she did attend a library-specific one. And then she went to it was bite-sized surveys. So it was more about doing micro-surveys. So, you know, there's this whole connection about, you know, people are burned out from surveys and whatnot, but they were talking about like smaller surveys, and even in different forms that you might not even realize, right? Like not just the Survey Monkey that I'm throwing at you, but you know, maybe just as simple as the program's done, just the raise of hands at the end. Would you recommend this program to someone else? Just kind of knowing that there's an opportunity to survey and make sure that like when you're doing and putting on these programs, you're actually asking your community members like what they want and what they need rather than what you think it should be. I'm a big quotes person. So there was a lot of quotes that I thought were very important that I got from a lot of the presentations that we had. So a lot of it was talking about just like, kind of like I said, the value of a library, right? And so they were kind of talking about like, you know, if the library, there's a lot of introspection. If the library were to disappear tomorrow, where would you go to meet your needs? That was a question that they posed us in one of the keynote speakers. And the other one I really liked was be an owner of information, not a renter. So own the information that you're sharing and make sure that when you're sharing it, that you're giving everyone the details that they need, and you're not just renting the information, you're owning it. You're saying, this is the decision, this is what led us to the decision, etc. So you're making sure that the information that you're sharing has all of those details needed. And then the top one, help see us in books instead of just stereotypes. The Maybook Project was one of our keynote speakers as well. And so that was one of the topics, was making that representation and that inclusivity across books, but also just in marketing as well. Oh, okay, so the swag bag. So they had this incredible room called Swag Room, and we saw it before we went. Now, we had not been before, so we were like, what does that mean? But I asked Chelsea, because she had known someone from Rochester, and I said, are we supposed to bring something? And they were like, well, if you have room in your suitcase, maybe bring a couple things. I'm like, okay, I'll bring a couple bookmarks, I'll bring a couple stickers. I did not bring enough. Because like the line to get in, everyone was so anxious. Like it was like, I don't know how to describe it, but they like opened the doors and they were like, one file line, like one single file line. And Chelsea was like, don't break from the pack. And I was like, but you should have 2 lines. She's like, you gotta follow the rules. Hey, I made the way. And they said after that there should be 2. So, but what was really cool was that, so I passed out some of the stickers and stuff, but there were pins, they had like promo materials and a lot of like their marketing. So some of them had their annual reports that they do. They had some stuff for how to advertise their summer reading programs. So it was really cool to see what other people are doing at their libraries, no matter what size they are, right? It's always nice to get that inspiration, and like then I can take it to our graphic designer and say, look, I love this. Can you recreate it? Or like do something similar. Or I really liked this part from it. You know, can we do something like that? So next year I will be bringing, well, if I go. I would love to bring our Explore program magazine that we do. Lance does such a great job with it, and it's one of our most like high track items. And I didn't really see anything like that when I was there, so I want to bring it. And I told him I could bring his business card as well. Like he should, you know, get some help out of it. But it was really cool to see everyone else's and get some ideas and just get fun stickers, you know. But okay, so our takeaways, so Chelsea has a take, I have a take. I thought one of the biggest things too was kind of like this, remembering that like social media marketing is ever evolving and it's a long game. It's not just a short game. So we have to remember the why, but also, you know, make sure that we remember that it's not always a war, sometimes it's just a battle. And so like we can get through it. And then as managers, like we need to make sure that staff receive time and resources and access to that information. So again, make sure that you're being not a renter, but an owner of that information. And ultimately, marketing is nothing but an experiment. So it's like, be fun, have fun, be creative. But their number one thing also is like, make sure that you're tracking progress and taking notes. So kind of that statistics and data and kind of backing it up. And I think, for me, it always comes back to like that sense of belonging, right? I feel that I belong in a library, and so we want to make sure that, just like the other quote said, like people can see themselves in the library and see themselves represented. And then showing our impact as well. So those are my takes. Chelsea's takes through that surveys are great, and she does a lot of surveys with her teams already, but she's excited to kind of take on more and encourage our teams and the youth team to do a little bit more. And then information needs to be spelled out. Social media is a great resource for sharing information and not just programs. So again, kind of with the survivor one, it's like, look at what you're doing, right? We're sharing programs, but then there's also these stories like Heidi's where we're like, okay, we're sharing moments of joy that a child found in a book, and then they use their resources here at the library to go and make something creative and found a new hobby. So that was her takeaway as well. And especially because teens are such a special group that it takes a lot of different marketing, you know, than to talk to them than it does to just run a separate social media. So, oh no, sorry. So what I thought was really fun about the conference though was connecting with people from all over. So there was libraries of all sizes. What I was surprised mostly was that there were so many from universities that were there, and I don't know why, I just didn't realize that. So it was pretty cool, but like I said, the big emphasis was kind of how you could best support yourself and your team. So one of the questions they were asking was, how can you show up for yourself more often? And I think that's a question that like Julie poses for us as well, like how, you know, the thing is one of the other quotes that I had written down as well was, you know, no one's going to know that you need help if you can't ask for help. So how can you show up for yourself more often. And one of the sessions I went to was called the one-person marketing team, which sometimes I feel like. So it was nice because it's a lot of the sessions of who was leading, just like the survivor one, where she said, I started by myself and then I eventually grew. That's what I see for our life. That's what I see for my team evolving. So it's nice because it was nice to connect with so many people from different libraries and different parts of the states as well, but just kind of hear like what they're going through and what we're going through and how did they tackle it and what could we do. Oops, I went the wrong way. Okay, so they announced their dates already, and they got a really good deal at the same hotel, so they booked a block for the next 3 years. So it's going to be in St. Louis, Missouri again, and it's going to be around the same dates. It's going to be November 12th through 13th again. In conclusion, we heard from there was a lot of newcomers there. It was their 10th anniversary, so I think they were really pushing for registration to celebrate that milestone. It's really the only conference that combines communications and marketing and has that niche. Now, there were a lot of librarians there, but there are also a lot of like unicorns like me who are not librarians, but do marketing for a library. So it was fun because Chelsea got to connect with her peeps, I got to connect with my peeps, we all mixed and mingled. So there were newcomers, but then there were people that we got seated, it was random every day where you sat so that you talked with new people. And so we got to talk with newcomers, and then we got to talk to people that have been coming for 8 years. So it's like, they're like, you're going to get hooked, like you're going to want to just keep coming back. And Chelsea and I would love to go back if given the chance. But we really appreciate the opportunity, and it was really fun for both of us to go and kind of have that experience in both of our roles. And I think it was good for a librarian to go as well, to have that aspect, that side to it as well, other than just me. And it's always nice to have another person go with you so you can debrief the day and talk about what your takeaways and sessions were and whatnot. But yeah, thank you so much for the opportunity. And does anyone have any questions?
I'm looking forward to seeing how you put all of your learnings into action.
Yeah, me too. I told Julie, I came back and I'm like, I want to join the group, and I'm like, but I can't. I know this year would be, I need to do like a year of taking the information and using it before jumping on all these committees, because I know I don't have time for that right now. But maybe next year would be a goal. But yes.
That was a very interesting report. Thank you very much. And you guys did a really good job of covering as much as possible, which was something that we talked about as a board before we approved it. So
right.
Good job.
Thank you.
Well, Sissy, I think it was money well spent on the two of you to send you to St. Louis.
Well, thank you. It was incredible. My favorite trip. So.
And your enthusiasm is contagious.
Yes, it is. Exactly. Thanks.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Yes. Grab all your
Yeah, that's really
things
cool
so
stuff.
you can keep your ideas for
I
next
mean,
time.
you created a whole nother line for all this stuff.
I know. It was really fun.
So they always have it in St. Louis?
So they got like a block deal. So this was their first year in St. Louis. They've been back before, but they are doing the next 3 years there because the hotel rates got locked in if they committed to a three-year commitment, which one of the board members was at my table and told me everything, so it's great.
Yeah, well, it's nice and centrally located too.
Yeah.
Sometimes they do these, when I was on the retirement board in Pontiac, every 2 or 3 years they'd have one in Hawaii. Well, that's ridiculous.
Yes.
Yeah.
It'd be fun, but not.
No, because I'm not gonna go to Hawaii on somebody else's dime and then,
You're not going to be sent.
no, because I'm gonna be busy in conference sessions all day. No
That's right,
thanks.
exactly.
I'll pay my own way to Hawaii and have a good time.
Okay.
Thank you, Sissy, very nicely done.
Julie, do you want to talk about the maintenance contract?
Yes, so this is from Arlene. For the past few years, we have had a comprehensive facilities maintenance contract with Allied Building Services. This includes a regular list of tasks that are monitored on a monthly, semi-annual, and annual basis, in addition to our regular as-needed work list. This has been a streamlined way for us to assure that our building is being maintained with a preventative mindset instead of constantly reacting to things that need to be repaired. The facilities coordinator oversees the task list to ensure everything is being completed, as well as creating the monthly list of minor repairs that need to occur. So the cost changes between 2024 and 2025 are as follows. Carpentry went from $73.50 to $78.50 per hour, electrical from $83.50 to $88.50 per hour, HVAC from $93.50 to $98.50 per hour, plumbing $93.50 to $98.50. The annual contract cost, though, remains the same at $22,762.50, and then the monthly contract invoice is $1896.88. So the thing to keep in mind is that the carpentry, electrical, HVAC, and plumbing only get put in play if we ask for special projects, and they quote those out separately. So we know how much we would be incurring in hourly rates and such for those kinds of tasks. We don't actually use them for HVAC. We don't usually use them for plumbing. We only occasionally use them for electrical. We do more frequently use them for carpentry work. There is an increase in the hourly rate as we discussed, but as I said, these are the things that are outside the scope. So despite a few very minor changes, some additions and deletions in the task list in appendices 1, 2, and 3, and some adjustments in the supplies provided by Allied at the beginning of the year, the overall cost of the proposed contract remains the same. We've been satisfied with the technician assigned to our building and with the service provided. It is recommended that we renew the contract for 2025. The contract was originally reviewed by the library's attorney. The verbiage is actually the same for 2023 and 2024. This is a budgeted item, and the contract pricing remains the same as last year. So, any questions about any of that?
What was her, did you say what our old carpentry rate was, do you know?
The $73.50 to $78.50.
70, okay,
Yeah,
got it.
yeah,
I'm just looking
yep.
at the letter, okay.
Yep.
And how often do we use that? I know with the others we don't typically, but.
Well, it's kind of on an as needed basis. Most of the time it's whatever we have repaired is included. So for example,
Right,
if
that's
there's a
what I
hole
was
in the wall or
wondering.
whatever, that's a task list. They do a certain amount of hours of work that are all included that would be carpentry. A carpentry task of that nature would be, for example, when we added the wall to the admin office.
Right.
And then we had them quote that out. So I'm trying to think if we did any last year. I'm not.
So
Maybe-
essentially, that the fact that those hourly rates went up is relatively immaterial to.
It is to the contract itself,
All right.
because we would still have them quoted out, and if we felt like it sounded high, we would be
We would
looking
get
for
another
other
quote
quotes
from
from other
someone else.
local
Okay.
contractors,
All right.
indeed, yeah.
The increase isn't bad. It's minimal.
This is actually a higher increase. I think last year the increase was $1 in each of those
Oh, okay.
areas, and so there's a bigger jump this year. But the fact that last year we had a small increase to the actual contract, and this year we had no
Okay.
increase to the
Balancing
contract
it out.
itself. So I think that sort of balanced it out a little bit, yeah.
Keep that in mind for next year.
Yeah, and Arlene sits down with Ted, who is our contract manager, and goes over everything with a fine-tooth comb, and they make sure that, oh, we need you to add this in, or we need you to take this out. And for example, they provide us with a certain number of ceiling tiles every year, a certain number of light bulbs, and she tweaks that every year with him. We raised some things, lowered some other things, and when they calculated it out, he decided that the price made sense to leave it the same, so.
Perfect. Any other questions or comments? Could I have a motion to approve the facilities maintenance contract?
So moved.
I'll second.
Okay. We have a motion to approve the comprehensive facilities maintenance program contract with Allied Building Service as presented. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those who disapprove, please say nay. Motion carried. Now, Julie, you want to go to the updated list of check signers?
Of course. So as a brief review, the accounts payable procedure is as follows. Invoices are submitted to the accounts payable administrative assistant who enters them into QuickBooks. The check run preview and invoices are given to the director for review. Once approved, the checks are run. There are 5 check signers, 4 board members and the library director. All checks are reviewed and signed by 2 library board members. The library director only signs if a check is needed quickly to prevent late fees or if other board members are unavailable, and only with agreement of the board member who is available to sign or by the board member who was scheduled to sign but is now unable to do so. The check detail report goes into the library board packet for approval on the consent agenda. Currently, the individuals on the master signature authorization agreement at the bank are Marilyn Pomeroy, Janice Gaffney, Nancy Moon, Allison McFadden-Kiesling, and Julia Meredith. In order to provide more shared responsibility for this task, Alan Panter has agreed to become an additional check signer. So this would be a new, a completely new master agreement that would go into the bank.
Any questions or comments? We want to thank Alan for agreeing to help sign checks and ACHs. May I have a motion, please?
I make a motion to approve the resolution authorizing Janice Gaffney, Allison McFadden Kiesling, Nancy Moon, Alan Panter, Marilyn Pomeroy, and Julia Meredith
Well, that's what's
as
on the bank-
signers on the
that's on bank
library's
list.
Flagstar accounts as presented.
Second.
Any questions, comments? If not, rather than repeating the entire motion, all those approved, please say aye.
This one needs, excuse me, I'm sorry, this one needs to be a roll call because it is a resolution.
Okay,
So,
okay.
Jan Gaffney,
Yes.
Tim Holcomb,
Yes.
Allison McFadden-Kiesling,
Yes.
Nancy Moon,
Yes.
Alan Panter,
Yes.
Marilyn Pomeroy absent, Maggie Sands.
Yes.
Thank you.
Looks like we're now ready for the fourth quarter financial report.
So this is the fourth quarter financial statement is in your packet. Basically, we've come to the end of the year. We made all of our budget adjustments. There are a few small things that still need to be done. We're still in the process of closing out the year, but I did want to get this to you so you could take a look at it. We came in appropriately under budget or on budget in all of our line items, so I think everything looks really good. But I am able to answer any questions if you have anything that has caught your eye before we go into audit.
Good job coming in on or below budget.
What happened with property taxes? We were about $236,000 under our budget.
We were 236,000. I'm sorry, say that again.
Our property tax revenue is about $236,000 less than what we budgeted.
Well, we calculate it out, and I think that she hasn't balanced everything from one year to the next yet. This is the not finalized version of it. But all I can say is that we budget based on the calculation on property taxes and.
Property taxes should be really straightforward to calculate because you've got taxable value and millage and just
Right.
Yeah.
multiply it together and there you go. But that's a pretty big miss.
Yep.
Well, I calculated it based on the property value number times the millage rate, so I can't control what people actually pay.
Well, right, but the county settles up with us, right?
Mhm.
So, we get made whole by the county.
Yep.
So, I mean, that's a pretty big variance.
I can take a look at it and come back with a further answer.
I hate to give you homework, but that's
Well, if you'd like me to do homework, I'm happy to do so.
Yeah, that's a pretty good miss. And
Okay.
I assume that the market value adjustment down here, this big negative in the revenues, is because we moved our investments during the year.
Yeah.
So somehow that's how
Mhm.
that whole transaction had to flush out, was to
Yep.
get this big debit in the revenues. It skews our income way down.
I'm sorry?
It skews our total income way down. We budgeted 2.6 million, we got 1.2,
Right.
Mhm.
because we have this big $1.2 million charge there.
Yep. Any other questions? I wondered, on the audio visual, did we not do any children's DVDs and CDs? you know,
Well, the interesting thing about the children's AV is that anything that is PG and above goes to adults, and the things that go into the children's department are the G-rated things. Primarily, the things that go into the children's department are series, and they didn't buy as many of those. They weren't buying those kinds of things because so much of it was just going into the adult department. So they've actually considered the possibility of no longer purchasing that in the children's department at all, and handing that entire collection development over to the adult department. And I think that's sort of the start of that happened this year.
okay.
Yeah. It doesn't mean that we didn't have anything for kids. It's a matter of who bought it, who actually did the actual selection and purchasing.
And I noticed under special events, like for promotions, we have a negative 2,000 per year.
Some kind of refund?
Yeah, it looks like a refund of some sort.
Oh, that would have been the Friends of the Library when they reimburse things. So going forward, there is a line item now that when the Friends are going to be paying for something, we take it out of that specific line item, and then when they reimburse us for it, we put it back in that line item. But we didn't start that at the very beginning of the year, and so there were some things that the Friends purchased that we fronted the money and then they reimbursed us for it. So I'm sure it's probably that.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
I always tell my clients to account for everything at gross, not
Mhm.
to net things.
Oh,
So you can
okay.
kinda see that,
Yeah.
so that you can see what you spent and what you got,
Mm-hmm.
instead of kind of mashing it all together. And then you get this credit, which is probably created by some kind of timing difference,
Mm-hmm.
you know, there,
Yeah,
so.
it could have been like the very beginning of the year that went in. And
Yeah.
switched it over, so it never.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And this is clearly cash basis.
Mm-hmm.
And then the other thing on our building and equipment, you know, we budgeted 73,000 and it's 13,000. I mean, 975 and 980. I mean, those are big variances as well.
So the building, you'll remember Arlene had talked about doing the HVAC units, and she
Yes.
didn't get that done. So she'll be coming back to you and saying, can we move the money from this year into
Okay.
2025?
So that's what that is, okay.
Yep. She's in the middle of the quoting process, but we don't have them all. She redid the RFP and resubmitted it
Okay,
to the contractors because she didn't like what she was seeing.
Okay.
So
good enough. I thought it might be the HVAC system. but-
it is. Yep. It's this unit, and the big one is the one that we did. It's the 4 little units that we didn't do.
Okay, and now, Julie, you want to give us a review of the brokerage account?
So the brokerage account, the report that I have is from Kevin. So what he wanted to let you know is that on January 6th, the library's first U.S. Treasury matured. The strategy is to have a maturity every 6 months. We rolled it into the U.S. Treasury at 4.067%, and you can see how that rolled in. And then you also have a brokerage report that I handed out separately.
Yeah.
That's in your pile with your
Yeah.
a complete report, if you'd like to take a look at that. Not a lot of news, but thought I'd at least bring that in and let you know that that had happened. We got it set up and it's been 6 months already.
It doesn't seem like it, but
I know, that's kind of what I said when he contacted me. He's like, so this is about to mature. And I'm like, what? Okay, this is why we have you watching this.
that's what I thought too. You found them easy to work with?
Very easy to work with. He gave me a call and said, how would you like to handle this? And I gave you a call and said, this is
Yeah.
what he said.
Yeah, talk to me
So-
about it, yes. Yeah, well, good.
Good to see the money working for us a little bit.
It
more
is,
than
yes,
it
yes, definitely. Definitely. We did have one interesting little glitch that happened. They got a new website, and when they got a new website, they closed out the old website and opened up the new website. And when our accountant went to do the reconciliation of the brokerage account, there was a dividend that was missing, and then it was there again, and she couldn't figure out why it had disappeared, and it was because literally the website had disappeared and then re-entered, but there was a little window where it was missing, and it took us a hot second to figure out what had happened there, and we got that straightened out. So I don't think it shows up anywhere on the report, but there is the reconciliation because you got a full report. I didn't put the reconciliation for December in there because she was straightening that out, and you'll see the December report in with the January one when we do next month. So if you happen to notice that report was missing, that's what was going on.
Any questions or comments?
So our plan is to hold exclusively treasuries and cash in here?
For the time being, unless you would like to talk about doing something different.
Not really, I mean, that's something that comes from the broker.
Yeah.
And, understanding that we're under some restrictions that are,
Mhm.
pretty, that narrow down our options a lot,
Right.
so, but.
I can ask him some
Well,
questions
these
about.
are
what-
good rates, but I mean, as the rates come down,
And I suspect
You know.
as the rates come down, he'll have other
we'll
suggestions.
Yeah.
probably kind of move away from some of those a little
Mhm.
bit.
Do you want me to ask him what those options might be so that you have time to think about it?
Well, it's always good to be aware of our options,
Okay.
moving forward.
Yeah, the rates were good enough here that we thought
Yeah.
that let's just,
No real reason to go anywhere else.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and-
got it, yeah.
We took a conservative approach. This was our first step into doing this.
Yeah.
Sure.
But I will ask him about what the options are, that as the rates go down, what would he recommend, so that you can take a look at that and maybe think about it in advance, because we don't, so sometimes it's a little bit like turning the Titanic, because we gotta come in and ask the board what you'd like to do and that sort of thing. So let me find out what those options are, and I can come back with a report next month.
And I think the other thing that we talked about, I don't remember now from the last meeting who brought it up, but that we might want to consider addressing, right now we bring all checks above 5,000 to the board, that we might want to go 7,500 or 10,000, and so if we could get some ideas of sort of how many fall in those categories, that would be great to.
We got Kathy settled in, and I wanted her to be involved in the process of working on those policies,
Okay.
since they affect her directly.
Sure.
And she's all settled in now, so I think she's ready to take on a project. She's also working on, as Alan had commented about, maybe doing some additional ACHs, being a safer way to do payment. I'm having her go through all of our vendors and look for ones that she thinks would be good to bring to the board as a possible additional ACH payment vendors, so,
That's great.
yeah. So.
Well, I have been impressed with her work when it goes to signing checks.
Ditto.
Very good job.
Yeah, it's been very nice. Yeah, so. Any other comments, questions? If not, may I have a motion to adjourn the meeting?
So moved.
second.
We've had a motion to adjourn. All those approved, please say aye.
Aye.
Those who want to stay longer, please say aye. Nobody wants to stay, so meeting's adjourned at 7:25.
7:25. Thank you. Good meeting.